We're live from the HousingWire news desk at MBA Annual. I'm thrilled to welcome Craig Rebmann of Dark Matter to this edition of HousingWire Instant Impact. Craig, could you briefly introduce yourself and Dark Matter?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Craig Rebmann, and I'm the product evangelist for Dark Matter, which means I get to have kind of one foot in sales, one foot in product, get to talk to a lot of our clients and prospects, get voice of customer type information. So it's really probably the most fun role that I think I've ever had. Dark Matter is a leading origination technology software provider in the mortgage space. And so we're well known for our Empower loan origination system. And also our Ava artificial intelligence platform, which helps with document classification, data extraction. And then we've also added on rules capabilities to that using our Ava rules engine that allow us to do like income calculations and bank statement reviews and additional things like that. And then of course our exchange network for third-party service integrations. So those are kind of the three pillars of what we do and how we serve the market.
So Dark Matter recently adopted a dual product strategy with your Nova LOS in combination with your Empower LOS. Could you tell me a little bit more about the strategy behind that strategy, why you decided to do that?
We did recently introduce a dual product strategy, absolutely right. And we've brought in the Nova LOS as part of that strategy. And it's really an interesting opportunity for us. You know, we were acquired by Constellation Software. Nova was acquired by Constellation Software back under the mortgage builder days. So we both have common ownership. But really, you know, Empower is really well known and kind of has a reputation as an enterprise level origination system. We have been pretty successful bringing that into the mid-tier and working with lenders in the mid-tier, primarily because of the process automation capabilities that we have and some of the ability around task-based processing and so forth. But that comes along with a certain administrative necessity for a dedicated resource to do some administrative pieces for the LOS. Not every lender is really prepared to do that. And some lenders really just want their line of business to manage the administration of their loan origination system. That's where Nova comes in. So Nova is a bit more turnkey in that respect. It's still very configurable, still a great end-to-end platform for loan origination. But it doesn't require a dedicated administrator. A little bit of an easier implementation path as well. So it's a good choice for helping us, get additional market share and continue to bring in more lenders.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you hinted at Ava, which is your AI, push into AI. AI is a big buzzword, very hot topic
Absolutely.
right now. On a practical basis, how are you integrating AI into your two LOSs?
Yeah, so we started our AI journey probably about 8 years ago with Ava. We had purchased a startup artificial intelligence company. We have been through a number of kind of fits and starts along the way, really getting our head around how this should operate, really against the document classification and data extraction use cases initially. And we did that from a kind of a loan quality check or a correspondent review check perspective initially. That capability was, as we developed it, integrated into Empower, integrated into our portals, our borrower portal, loan officer portal, our correspondent portal, and our wholesale portal, and into our document repository. So it's pretty natively integrated into the existing Empower base. Now on the Nova side, Nova uses Axacor's XDocs document management system. So that's really going to be the first touch point for us to integrate Ava, and we're going to put Ava into XDocs, and then we'll bring along our Ava Assist products along the way. But we intend to make some good progress on that in the first quarter with XDocs.
So several different product integrations for AI, but a lot of lenders are in very early stages, if they've even started, integrating AI into their tech stack. So how are you getting your lender clients comfortable with the technology and integrating it into their LOS?
That's a great question. And one of the things about Ava that makes that a little bit of a different animal is it's predictive AI instead of Gen AI. So it's a little bit easier to understand. It's certainly more mature. And I think that it's easier for customers to embrace. Really, when you look at doc classification and data extraction, people have been working on that for decades and using OCR capabilities and a variety of other capabilities. So it's an area that lenders are already comfortable with from that perspective. Use cases are well understood, and that's a really critical piece when you're talking about artificial intelligence, to have a really well thought out understanding of what the use case is that you're trying to solve, and then understanding what are the benefits and the risks associated with the use of artificial intelligence in that particular area. And in the document classification and extraction state, there's really pretty low risk and high reward, particularly because you can put the human on the loop at the back end to do that review. But at the end of the day, it's providing data into a decision process rather than being a decision process. And that's a key component to why it's a little easier to adopt something along those lines.
How do you get the LO and the loan processors and other operations professionals comfortable with the AI not replacing them, but being more of a tool for them to do their jobs better?
Well, there's been a ton of discussion around that. Your own James Kleiman put a really interesting post out.
A very provocative
on LinkedIn
post
about that. And that actually has been something I've been thinking about a lot as well. But when you think about the mortgage process and the mortgage market in general, it's a consumer-facing kind of a business. It's a very complex process, and the transaction is complex. And there's a lot that a customer can do to self-serve along the way. But at the end of the day, you start talking about rates, you start talking about products, and you start talking about, what even is a rate lock? A first-time home buyer may not have any kind of clue about what that even is. So that human interaction is still extremely important. J.D. Powers reinforced that in just about every client satisfaction survey they've ever done, that it's the combination of people and technology that really make a process stand out. So I think there's always going to be a role, particularly for those customer-facing people. But even in the back office, we're at a point in the market where we're in a very contracted state, and God forbid we go down any further in terms of volume, right? I think that the forward projections are, even if it's at a moderate pace, we should start to see volume increase. So really, this is a perfect time to bring in AI, because what's going to end up happening out of that is you're going to get your existing staff more scalable, and maybe you won't hire as much going forward. Maybe you won't hire at all going forward. We've actually seen from use of our AVA capability, some lenders being able to scale as much as 16 times on their document volume without having to increase resources. So it's been a pretty significant win in that regard. Now, that certainly still doesn't necessarily make an underwriter feel comfortable or make a processor feel comfortable. And to that, I think the key is, regardless of what role you're in, artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it's something that we all have to get comfortable with and have to take a look at. And no matter what role you're in, I would encourage anybody, get educated on artificial intelligence and think about it through the lens of your current role. What does it mean to how you do work? How are ways that you might be able to utilize artificial intelligence to help with your job? Because ultimately, if you're an agent for the change, as opposed to being resistant and afraid of the change, you're going to fare much better.
Yeah, and I think that the boom and bust hiring cycle that we have in mortgage is not good for anybody.
No, it's absolutely not.
And maybe technology, including AI, can help us alleviate some of that boom and bust.
Yeah, I think a more scalable workforce really helps. I mean, a big part of cost to originate in the current state is that lenders are carrying more headcount than what they normally might. So in some ways, the market is a bigger risk to us than AI, but the market's going to improve. And that upward cycle and that improvement of increasing volumes and the ability to scale to that, I think is really key.
So we talked about how a lot of lenders are still in the very early days of their integration of AI into their tech stack. What are you advising your clients and prospects around build versus buy versus partner when it comes to AI? Because there's a lot of noise right now.
And that's been another really interesting area of conversation. At the AI Summit, there was a lot of conversation about build versus buy, and a lot of talk from some very large lenders talking about the importance of of building it and owning it, partner with an OpenAI or a Google or an AWS and bring that in-house and really own the AI so that you're the one responsible for the results of it. And that makes a lot of sense. But that's not really going to be for everybody. There's an enormous cost to training models, an enormous cost to building that into your process, and also just understanding how your cloud provider is going to bill you for all of the different services that you're consuming. It's not by loan, and that can be a real eye-opening experience when you start to scale in artificial intelligence capability. So I would say that partnering with someone who has been through some of these pieces is a really good strategy for a lender, regardless of size. Ultimately, you can have lenders with a good sized technology team who are going to be able to take on quite a lot, and you can have lenders who really don't have a technology team, but they don't want to be left out of the AI change. And they shouldn't have to be. So I think in that case, partnering with the right partner, working through use cases together is a really great strategy. And that's one of the roles that Dark Matter can play. We can certainly help. We talk to our clients about different use cases that they're interested in, and always looking at it from that lens of what does it mean from a change management perspective. That's a critical piece of that, and it can't be left out.
Craig, what a great conversation we've had. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.